This is Rob Liefeld. Kai Review is going down.
Hey guys, just finished watching Legion, Season 3, Episode 2, Chapter 21. Wow, what an interesting episode. So this episode was really interesting. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in this episode, a lot of kind of callbacks from last season that I completely forgot and had to actually dig online to try and figure out as to what was going on. As to what, at least kind of remembering what was happening and stuff. But I found it there thanks to Reddit and stuff. But it was kind of interesting playing with the different stuff. We start off this episode with kind of Lenny tells kind of Switch that David asked for her, but kind of stay away. She doesn't want Switch taking over as David's main girl type thing. So I think that's kind of interesting to see as to where things are going to go with that storyline. We see that David changes his mind. David changes Lenny's mind and makes her kind of and made her hungry type things, and that's really kind of interesting. He's still kind of playing with stuff, even though he's kind of learnt he hasn't learned his lesson with what he did with Sid and stuff, and that's kind of the thing that I keep kind of forgetting from this from the last season and stuff, is that what exactly happened with Sid and stuff. And if from what I've been reading up on on recaps online and stuff from like Reddit and stuff, is that he changed all this. He wiped her mind and did all kinds of stuff with her mind, but it was all for to protect her because the Shadow King was kind of messing with their minds and stuff. So I think that's kind of interesting, kind of playing with that, to seeing as to where things are going to go with David versus the Shadow King at the same time, as he kind of has all of Division 3 kind of on his side, and all of David's old friends on his side. I think that's going to be quite cool to see as to where things kind of go. And David wants to go back in time to save the world, or to go back in time and change things, but he can't go through Switch's portal, so he wants to enhance her powers, and that's where he needs Carrie, the guy, C-A-R-Y, Carrie with a C, to actually go to build something to help him, change and be able to, go back in time with Switch. And he talks to Sid mentally and stuff, and I think that's interesting. He kind of puts a little bit of, doubt somewhat and trying to confuse her. At least, he convinces her that he's the victim and not everyone else, right? So I think that's going to be interesting to play with that, playing with where things kind of go. And it's interesting that, even though the changing people's memory blew up so much in his face from last season, but I mean, if you look at, it was actually it was all to protect her and stuff because she was trying to kill him. And I think that was kind of an interesting idea to play with all that. But yet, when it comes to someone like Lenny, although Lenny is not really a person, it's kind of like just like an abomination of, something created by, it's actually his sister turned into Lenny, right? Created by Farouk and stuff. And I think that's really going to be interesting to play with that. We see that David talks to Sid mentally, and she calls him. It's unclear if kind of she calls him or he calls her. I think she called him first, or at least, and he was kind of listening in type thing. I think that was kind of interesting with that. And then they end up talking and stuff, have a deep conversation. That's where she's not sure as to what to do. And then she goes into the conversation with Farouk, and he's like, we need you to be the one to kill her. And she talks about how are we going to defeat him if he's the one with the time traveler, right? And then David ends up drugging, we see that Lenny ends up capturing Carrie. The Division 3 had captured someone in last episode before the house disappeared, and they try to use him to find David and stuff, but Lenny sets a trap and uses him to capture Carrie, and David ends up bringing Carrie back to his place, and they drug Carrie, and that's when we end the episode with Carrie kind of on David's side, or is excited to start working on time travel. Now, you could see someone of his position being kind of excited of the possibility of playing with time travel and stuff. That could be something fun for someone like him. But, he did drug him, and, there was that kind of like, it's unclear if David's also kind of messed with his mind, or the drugs have, or if he's just kind of blindly following David, or if he's kind of just opened up his mind to show him like, hey, here's the real truth, right? So it's going to be interesting to play with that, to see as to where things kind of go. Even if David has played with his mind, it'd be kind of cool to see as to where things kind of go with David with Carrie and stuff. And if David plays with one Carrie's mind, Carrie the guy, would the other carry be affected by that too somehow? You know, I mean, they have this setup where they're able to kind of talk to each other just by cutting into their arm, cutting notes, right? So I think that would be kind of interesting playing with that to see as to, you know, would there be kind of a side effect, or what would the other carry feel like if, you know, while he's on drugs, right, and while he's being played with, his mind's being played with by David. I think that could be something fun to play with that, to see as to kind of where things could go with this. So all in all, I'm excited to see as to where things go. Not sure how many episodes. I think we only had 10 episodes. Not sure how many episodes we're going to get. It says 8 episodes this season for Legion, so that'll be cool to see as to where they go. Excited to see as to how things kind of continue on, especially with this being the end last season and stuff. Next episode looks like we still have to introduce Charles Xavier and stuff, and looks like the trailer for that will be setting that up, so that'll be fun to see that. And it'd be cool to see as to where things kind of go with this and how this kind of show kind of ends at the end of the season. You know, do we get a battle with Charles Xavier and David versus Farouk and stuff? And I think that could be quite fun to seeing as to where things could go with this show and stuff. It's disappointing with it being the last one that it couldn't get someone like Patrick Stewart to play Charles Xavier, but then again, we'll have to just wait and see. I mean, we obviously know that it's not going to be him, so all in all, I'm excited to see as to where things kind of go with this show. I'd like to see a little bit more action, but I mean, it's only episode 2 of the season, so it's just getting started. So let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below. Do you like it? And let me know what you don't like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
We're here for Kyle Reviewed on YouTube, the very best Kyle Reviewed channel on all the YouTube Kyle Reviewed channels. You got that? You got that right? Thank you for watching Kyle Reviewed. Deadpool and I thought it was fantastic. You need to like, you need to subscribe. You know how it's done. Like, subscribe. Right, DP? All right, Kyle Reviewed. Cool channel.